Hero's joining in, ja. Dat is väldigt good, ja. Oh my god. That's very good, ja. Very good, ja.
We've got a lot more to go.
Hello, everyone at Big Cries, as we now make the journey back to base, and also give you the chance to actually get an idea of what happened before we try to do a dedicated video on it. If we do, might not. Yeah, let's get cracking, yeah. Hero, what do you say? Hero says, yeah!
It's showtime.
Hello everyone.
At the roundabout, continue straight to stay on Cannon's Way.
You cried tears back, and there is a massive limo. So yeah, this is, whoa, it's like American style. Oh, it's a Ford. Yeah, mega American style. The limo people. Need a limo, they will definitely know something about limos.
Turn left onto Anchor Road, A4.
We've just finished up from watching the film by 44Teeth on the budget bike battle, Bavaria, and yeah, it was absolutely fine. It was fun to watch. Their take on humour, and there's some nice motovlogging there, and God, the sights they saw, holy hell, must have just been epic. And yeah, it was fine. In the heart of Bristol, so there was just a lot of people, different kind of people walking around, and yeah, everyone arrived, and it was actually quite full. And there were very few seats left, so it was pretty packed out. So 44Teeth must have been quite happy with that, quite proud to know that they made so many ticket sales, which is very cool for them. You know, good on them. And yeah, the sound was fine. There was a technical malfunction with the rear speakers, but you know, it's just things happen, you know.
They gave us a token at the end, didn't they?
We did. We got a little token, speak out, and the token was, which one did you think was the winner out of the two? So it was 90s Supersports. YZF 750. Not the YZF 1000, YZF 750, so that's the Supersport class. And then a Honda. Luke Rice doesn't understand Hondas. He doesn't know enough about them. But the 90s Fireblade, probably, that was the largest capacity of Fireblade at the time, then that probably was Honda Superbike at the time. So you got possibly Superbike versus Supersport, but when you're watching the footage of the Nürburgring, it's like the Yamaha just was able to pull faster out of the corners against the Honda Supersport or Superbike, and just seeing that the Yamaha was faster in the corners, faster to come out of the corners, faster steering, faster responsiveness in the steering,
Brakes.
faster, more potent brakes, and yeah, a very pretty colour scheme of the time. So that one for me was the winner. Was the Yamaha Supersport. Got my vote. find out.
Head west. Continue for 5 miles.
Oh, fuck.
Go for a leave.
That was pretty cool. It's quite handy to be able to film now because at least we've got some sort of light. Soon, once we go onto the motorway, it's just going to be possibly pitch black. And look at that, that's the massive, great big bridge built by
Isambard Kingdom,
Brunel. Luke Crimes is just, for some reason Luke Crimes can remember faces better than names. So I understand why he just. But yeah, it was built when there wasn't such things as aluminium and steel. So, but there was a lot of iron. Iron was the main material, and that was one of the few crossings into Bristol, because Bristol was a small city back then. It didn't have roads like we have now, or traffic lights, or street lights, or anything like that. So it's a very important bridge. And now in Bristol there is something called a clean air zone. So what that means, if you have a petrol supercar car, junior supercar, eco car after 2006 onwards, you don't get charged. But if you have a car or supercar before 2006, you will be charged every day. Ouch. Of course, if you have an electric car, you won't get charged. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes you wonder. We're coming out of Bristol now. This gorge is a big gorge, and the river there lead towards the main docks for Bristol. Yeah, it's quite pretty. There's a tunnel back there, so if you had a junior supercar or a supercar, you just change down a gear, just open up the throttle. Very hard nowadays to actually find a tunnel that isn't. What happens now in Britain is that if you go underneath a tunnel, most of the time there are cameras watching your speed at average speed zones in tunnels, so the government stops you from being able to make some noise as a petrol head, or if you just love petrol, the government don't want you to make a loud noise in the tunnel. Same for superbikes as well, same for motorcycles. Yeah, look at that. There's loads of trees. In summer this would be very pretty. Lots of trees. And yeah. It was just a fun adventure. And 44Teeth did the best that they could, and pretty kudos to them taking in a 90s Supersports, possibly one Super 90s Superbike, all the way from Dunkirk all the way from Dunkirk through Belgium, through parts of France, into Germany. If only they showed more footage of the drinking, that would have been interesting. In Germany, you get these massive, great big glasses of proper massive jugs. You don't find that in Britain. It's very hard to find ale or a beer served in a great big jug like you would find in Germany. Interesting, isn't it? So yeah, just an interesting adventure.
was safe, easy to walk around.
Yeah, Bristol was pretty safe. The areas that we walked around and everything, and the town centre was quite lots of lights, you know, quite bright, and it's interesting when you see things like the police actually having electric police cars in Bristol. If you go away from the city, away from Bristol, you will not find police cars that are electric. There would be Hyundais or Vauxhalls with diesel engines. So that was quite interesting. Police car. Definitely, if the police chase you in Bristol, you won't hear them coming. You literally won't. Until they put the sirens on, you won't hear them coming. They just be like, "You're under arrest." Didn't hear you coming, literally. So that's quite interesting. And the buses as well. And the buses are all have modern LED headlights and all very modern buses. When you get away, if you live away from the city, deeper into the countryside or further south or west, you would not find buses like that. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lovely place if you're looking just to be able to sit down, have some nice food, have some really nice ales, or coffee, or orange juice, or whatever you're into. There's a business called the Weatherspoons, and their pricing is just fantastic, really good. So that's a nice place to stop. And yeah, it was a adventure. Most of the people that turned up didn't really wear motorcycle jackets. It was just...
I was wearing armour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few of us wearing a motorcycle jacket with armour, or a motorcycle jacket of some kind, or motorcycle in some way with like a brand like Yamaha. Nick Price, of course, Kawasaki, so he's got his Kawasaki jacket on. But yeah, it was pretty pleasant. Seats were fine. Certainly quite warm in the cinema, so that was good. Interesting how 44Teeth just spent the time to do a Q&A after watching the film. That was fine. Of course, you always will have that question where somebody will say, a person will say, what will be the next budget bike battle if you were 44Teeth? You'd be like, after all the filming and organising the cinema and the amount of bookings that they've had, the question wouldn't have an answer to that question. He'd be like, why'd you ask me that? Don't ask me that question! Don't ask me that question! Yeah, they'll think of something. Maybe they'll do a budget bike battle in America. Somehow, I used to say. But they're one of the few channels on YouTube.
In a quarter of a mile, at Causeway Roundabout, take the second exit onto the M5 slip road to the Midlands, Portbury Dock.
The Midlands.
Google Maps. Oh, that was interesting, actually. A little bit of a spoiler. When Chris, so Yamaha Supersport, Chris, when he was in when they got to Germany and they got towards the Munich, Bavaria area, the sat-nav kept
Out onto the
changing
slip road.
what was the fastest route every 5 or 10 minutes on its sat-nav.
Right lane to merge onto M5.
Using Google Maps, and he was like, "Oh, stop it! Just give me a route and just stick to it." And I was like, "No, I've got a faster route." Oh, 5 minutes later, "I've got a faster route." It's like, "Shut up!" that was funny.
Need to merge onto M5, then use the right 2 lanes to take the M5 exit.
So yeah, what a day! I'm starting to get into the dark part now.
Lanes to take the M5 exit.
So yeah, it was
5 for 75 miles.
a cried to miss his motorcycles. His body's not ready. Definitely can't hold the weight of even the XT660. The body's not ready. And that's a light motorcycle compared to all different motorcycles out there. It's lighter than 750. So yeah, what a day. Good adventure. And yeah, this is where it gets very, very dark, so we'll leave it here now as we pass through the docks, Bristol, massive great docks. So much activity in the distance, the docks are illuminating the sky. So many light sources are at the docks. Now we're going over the river. Runs through the docks into Bristol. And yeah. Good night, Bristol. Like some people. There's like a little lorry race going on the other side of the road. Which lorry could overtake the other lorry? Cool. We will. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll leave it here. Very cool. That was a fun adventure. A day out. And yeah, we got to see budget bike battles, and then there'll be another budget bike battles, and then there'll be another one. It's interesting. Well, it's interesting that 44Teeth can afford to make these budget bike battles, which is, you know, another incarnation of what was Top Gear's battles that they did with cars, where they would get old cars, or they'd have a certain kind of car and they would just go and road test them and make them do stupid things and go for drives across Britain or go for a drive somewhere in these old cars or certain kind of cars. And this is the bike version of that, and it's 44Teeth that's the only channel so far it's making their own interpretation of what was Top Gear's thing. So that's quite interesting. And yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, so that was quite an interesting drive. It was actually pretty good. It was good. It was quite dark. But what an interesting film. It was actually fairly funny.
got some really good motovlogging there. Overall, actually, it was a pretty good film. The rides can, 44Teeth are who they are, so, they just use a lot of jokes that they think are manly, but they're not manly at all. The jokes they think is manly because it's all about ladies and bits and stuff. It's just like, Jesus Christ, show some respect. But hey, that's 44Teeth for you. But yeah, overall they were pretty pleasant. They were pretty, you're a customer. You're a customer here to watch that film. They're not expecting you to be the best buddies. It's really nice to say hi and how are you doing and all that sort of good stuff. And to think YouTube can make you, with motorcycles, can make you this sort of celebrity now. But only if you get the views, only if you get tens of thousands of views for most of the videos you produce, only then do you get noticed. And of course you can then earn money from monetizing from YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And there's little Luke Rides with 400 subscribers. Thank you for joining Luke Rides subscribers, yeah! Yay! But yeah, it's just kind of like... so yeah, let's get some coffee in the Luke Rides. Thanks for watching.
The way we...
The little rascal has spirit. As water.
This is the end of the trail for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, kid.
Drink as a couple, yeah. He actually can this time.
He's got a lot more to go.